Hi guys, welcome to the Full Time Devils podcast. I am Adam Mckola. Today I am joined by Andy Tate, Jay Motty, and we've got a special guest with us as well. Dean is in the house. If you watch my YouTube channel or you watch Straight Up, you know who Dean is, and he's been on a few fan cams as well. So thanks to Dean for joining us today. Welcome to the show, Dean.
Thanks, man. I'm looking for my my debut cap.
We'll present you with a shirt or something, or a scarf or something in a bit. You can hold it up. And this is my Marshall scarf, though, so this ain't going anywhere. How we doing, guys? We won this weekend. Happy?
Yeah, man. It feels a bit weird, doesn't it? Like a relatively routine victory, shall we say. Not a lot to shout about, but not a lot to complain about, really. Just a win with a couple of important players missing as well against a decent side. I don't think there's much you can grumble about. I know it wasn't an amazing performance, but what I liked about it, or what it reminded me of a little bit, was people have these rose-tinted glasses when we look back at Fergie performances, right, that we used to steamroll teams all the time. We didn't. A lot of the time, we just do what we needed to do. And it was that sort of feeling. We got an early goal. I felt defensively, I know they had a couple of decent efforts where Tahith made some good saves, but I didn't really feel like we were under that much pressure. I felt we pretty much controlled the game in the way we needed to. I think we had a lot of possession, and I think we sort of, or not necessarily possession, but we kept them at bay quite comfortably. I was quite impressed with our defence. So yeah, it was pretty sort of, you know, like I said before, routine 3 points, and I think, you know, we can move on from it, because before the game, Mako, I know you weren't feeling too confident.
I wasn't being over the top pessimistic, but I wasn't confident, especially once the team news came out and you look at their team. Andy, you went with us on the weekend.
Yeah, I was working, but I did have it on radio, and from what I've heard,
have you watched it since?
I've watched it since, like I said.
Like, what do people watch Match of the Day anymore? Like,
I watched it all on YouTube by 7 o'clock. Thank you, Google. But like I say, all the Premier League goals today, you don't do Match of the Day anymore. Bye-bye, Gary Lineker. You know what I mean?
What do we think? Hold on, that is a good point. What do we think about like that? Because I see the goals, but Match of the Day is still a thing for me if United win. Do you not? You just fallen out of love with it?
Times to change.
Dean?
Times to change.
It's set on Sky Plus, and so it's always recorded. But obviously I watch every United game I'll have a go, or I'll watch it live at the time, I'll stream it, and then obviously if I've gone to the game, I'll probably watch the Match of the Day probably the following day. But it's like I say, it's always set to record, so I do watch it, but I'm skipping through the analysis.
Because there was a conversation recently,
me, you know?
obviously because of what people like ourselves do, and obviously media changing, BT Sport, Sky Sports, all these different TV packages, the fact that goals are on the internet like that, it's kind of changed the need for Match of the Day, but I don't know, I still look at it as like a little classic thing. I remember watching it the night of a match and then waking up in the morning and watching it again like 7 a.m. Like back in the day. That was when we were good and we could watch Match of the Day all the time.
I think that when I watched it back in the day, it was more. It was on TV. It was on Sky. When I was a small kid, I didn't have Sky.
Yeah, no,
so like, you know what I'm saying, like, and there was most games at 3 o'clock. So there was a bigger card of football.
You could avoid the scores as well easier.
Yeah, it was still hard, but like nowadays with your phone, you know the like. When was the last time anyone ever watched Match of the Day didn't know the score? When is that ever?
I've done it for a few other games. I don't know. I've done it like, I've watched it knowing the United score, but not knowing a few other games. But never not knowing the United score.
But even then, you can kind of tell with the way the way they put it in terms of the way they structure it. Oh, this is going to be a decent game. It's first. Like if United are playing and we ain't first, you know it's probably a dead game.
Some people still built on tradition, because my father-in-law he's a blue, but he don't want to know any scores. But he watched City, watch his game, but he don't want to know any Premiership scores, and he'll watch Match of the Day for the rest.
Premier League.
He'll watch Premier League at the end of the night on a Saturday night with a beer, and that's tradition. And he's in his 70s now, so it still goes there. It still happens.
One of the memories I have with my old man, which kind of sticks in my head, I used to go to see my dad on the weekend. So if he was taking me to games or I was just spending the weekend with him, whatever. But I can remember us going shopping, avoiding the score for that game when we beat Spurs 5-3 and came back from 3-0 down. And like avoiding the score all day, watching Match of the Day, and I was sitting there like, we're 3-0 down, what the fuck's going on here? Probably being close to turning it off. But like I couldn't imagine even trying to do that these days.
Yeah, I do remember that though. I remember hearing the score. I was in town, 3-0 down. I'm like, God's sake. When I got home, we won 5-3. And I'm like, fucking, I'm buzzing. I'm bouncing. My dad's like that. I just heard my dad screaming from in the house, what a team, like that. There's Veron Berry in the fourth.
when that game happened, I was young, not long had a phone, and I set up that. You remember you could have the text alerts on that. You charge it 12p every time. Bro, man's credit took an absolute pounding. Every single goal,
that's 8 goals,
half-time, full-time, absolute pounding, mate. Like, yo.
Had to go back to the post office and I need to top up again.
I ain't got no money, bro. That's just broke again, yo.
Do you ever topping up your phone?
Yes.
That is a memory I have. Topping up your phone.
You could do. I'm sure you could do blues, isn't it?
I did. Like everyone's probably learned.
People
By now.
still
I did it
do
with
it.
my dad, but because of that, he bought me a contract when I was like in year 7, and I've had the same number since. Nah, but then what would happen was I'd go over the bill. Man would take the phone off me, the SIM card off me, just everything gone for a month.
Mate, I'm nearly 40. My phone's still not in my name. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm sat here like sinking into this couch.
No, it's fine. I hear you.
I'm saying, mate, it's the struggle.
We all need a guarantor sometimes.
Yeah, I get my mum like, have you paid that phone bill? You sent that direct debit to my account.
Quality. Love that. We talk about football, innit? I've noticed when you win games, you talk about the football less. You'll notice because we go home after games together a lot. When we win, the last thing we talk about is the football. And when we lose, all the way back, all you can think about is the football. Like, hopefully we can do this every week on a podcast, just talk nonsense about me not living with both my parents. and Jay not having a phone. Jay still has to top up.
This is
phone.
the Broken Britain podcast here. the working class podcast for all you out there.
We did win. Scott McTominay got a lot of plaudits after the game, and we do a video, me and Dean, called The Aftermath, a day after every game. And Dean's got a lot of stick this week for not rating McTominay's performance. Did you rate it? Like, I feel like you were a bit misunderstood.
Yeah, I mean, I did try to clear it up a bit, but for me, it's like he played well in terms of based on what was on show on the whole pitch, because I don't think. Again, I said before the game, I thought we'd get filled in, to be honest. I thought indeed he'd run the midfield. It didn't happen. McTominay did play well, but for me, it's like everyone's gassing him and McTominay that. But to me, he played well, but it's like, is that really is that going to bridge the gap between us and City? I just don't see it. And I don't know, I don't really see his ceiling for his, like, the ability as. I don't really see it being as high as what people are probably making out. And it's like, yeah, he did have a good game, but it's like, again, to me, I think he was impacted by the fact that there wasn't other great players playing at the time. Like I said, I thought.
We talk about Ndidi and that, and I think what we got to give him a lot of credit. I give McTominay stick when he deserves it, and I think if United want to be catching City, McTominay as a player should be 4th choice, 5th choice midfielder. He shouldn't be 2nd or 1st choice. That's for sure.
Is it guaranteed on the start?
Yeah, and that is a problem in itself. But I think what people looked at that performance was he kept the momentum going, he kept the tempo going, and some of the challenges that he was putting in were eye-catching. So they make you think he's giving it. Yeah. And then he hit one pass that I've never seen him hit before, where he controlled it, pinged it, and it was a great ball across the park. I don't like to see him doing that, because usually he hasn't got it in his locker. But he was doing that as well, and I think, you know...
He shouldn't be doing that. Shouldn't that be...
No, I mean, I'd rather him be the midfielder that's keeping it simple, just passing it.
Well, fair enough.
But the pass was amazing.
If you've got something in your locker and you use it now and again, nothing wrong with that. Do you know what I mean? Look at one.
What do you think of him?
From what I've heard on Saturday...
Or what you've seen?
What I've seen of him...
Of McTominay in general?
McTominay in general, he's okay. He's a squad player. He's like a Darren Fletcher. And
is he, though?
That's what I mean,
I don't think he's that good. I don't think he's
Is there not a bit of road, right? Is there not...
It's a bit early to say it, but...
Are we being a bit nice to Fletch?
This is the thing, right? We all love Darren Fletcher, right? Let's just get a disclaimer out there, yeah?
There's a time
Darren Fletcher, football genius, yeah? But there's like this rose-tinted sort of retrospective look at Dan Fletcher, like I've seen some shite on like social media, like he was always one of our best players. No, he wasn't. Right? He literally wasn't.
Remember when he came through and he was
like,
a right winger?
Yeah.
And he was touted to be the next David Beckham.
I mean, to be fair, he never should have been touted to be the next David Beckham.
And then
he never
became
should
a
have been
central midfielder.
at the time. Yeah. But like he was a decent player, a good squad player. He had some great performances, like against Arsenal when he got sent off. He had a worldie. But then even then, people saying, "Oh, if he hadn't got sent off against Arsenal, we would have won the Champions League final." No, we wouldn't. He wouldn't have been able to control Xavi and Iniesta on his own.
I reckon he might have.
No, I'm not having it. I'm not having it. I'm not having it. I like him, right? And we missed him in that final, but he was not the difference between those two teams by any stretch of the imagination. And I think this is the problem. People think like they have this, like I say, I keep saying that expression, but these rose-tinted glasses, and because we're shit now as well, people look back with a bit more nostalgia. So he was a good player, but not a great one.
But I do think McTominay would only ever be a squad player. Like, bruv, I watched remember that video I was at Darren Gibson the other day. Darren Gibson looked world class, mate, at times. You look at some of the goals he was scoring.
Yeah, no, he had a
some of the goals he was scoring.
The
G-bomb. They can't, other midfielders in our team can't do that. Like, Darren Gibson, if he played for us now, we'd be like, raw. He's the man.
It's like when you want
he scored against Bayern Munich.
When you want to say something like, when you want to prove a point, you can say like, didn't Darren Gibson score in like a semi-final when we played
Bayern Munich?
No, he scored in the quarter when we played Bayern Munich. When we played Schalke, he scored, didn't he?
No, was that Anderson?
Like both, but I'm pretty sure they both.
Do you remember when John O'Shea accidentally scored a back heel in the air? Like that against Copenhagen.
John O'Shea's highlights reel, right, is the best highlights reel of any player you'll ever see. He's not Meneghine Figo. He goes in goal for a bit and keeps a clean sheet. He's scoring in front of the Kop in the last minute. He scored an absolute banger against Arsenal.
Lobs a keeper.
Yeah, it's just like, if you just sent this to a manager who didn't know anything about him, went, I've got this guy, right? He's like, 90 million quid and he's yours. You'd be like, yes. Oh my God, bring it on.
Yeah.
Then he rocks up on it.
But then, do you remember the one pass he had in his luck was a hook down the line? He just like turned around.
Them hook passes and
yeah.
I just knew
well,
he had
Ashley
that
Young
hook pass in the
resorted to
back.
that in the second half the other day, which was frustrating. I thought Ashley Young started the game very well, found 2 great passes to Daniel James, and then thought, I'm going to do this every day, every pass.
I didn't think Ashley Young, and I know people, you think Ashley Young, I thought he played okay. I think there's this thing now where I'm almost scared to say that, but I missed the goal because I was late. I got caught in
I think some people are scared to admit sometimes he's better than Luke Shaw.
But I thought he did okay.
Whoa.
Okay.
Sometimes he's better than Luke Shaw.
Whoa.
His stats, if you
I think a lot of people overrate Luke Shaw at the moment. He's not the player he once was. He's definitely not player of the year. And since we've strengthened our defence,
his commitment
Barlow is possibly the weakest link.
His commitment, Ashley Young's commitment to the club, I'm not going to question it, but end of last season, the performances, he got a lot of stick. He got a lot of stick.
Bro,
I'm talking
about like the other week when Luke Shaw got injured and went off. Ashley Young came on and was better than Luke Shaw. I'm not on about over 12, 18 months.
When he came on, against Palace, God, there was a groan in the ground. Serious. That's
kind of what he's alluding to, and it's like we kind of.
There was a groan in the ground. He's like, oh. I mean,
but it's like what Dean's saying. Go on, Dean.
I just think it's kind of what you're saying. Like in terms of everyone, like you can't really you can't compliment him because it's like, oh, he's whack, he's past it. But obviously, if you're basing it on what he's actually doing, it's not. Like I said, and again, against Palace, he wasn't that bad, isn't it? But not against.
He's not. It'd be good to have
when he came on against Palace, I thought he did okay. And I thought from what I saw at the weekend, I thought he did all right. But I think I wouldn't, if I was just watching that game of football, I wouldn't have thought I missed the first 15, and I wouldn't have been like Ashley Young is rubbish. I just thought he didn't even stand out. I thought defensively we did okay, and he was part of that. Do you know what I mean? I'm with you on the Luke Shaw thing though. I do think Luke Shaw needs to step it up. I've been saying that for a while, and I think the double player of the year thing was a bit of a joke, and it's
I feel like that was a prank by the squad.
They can't give it to Pogba,
innit? But it had to be Pogba.
Yeah, no.
I would have given it Lindelof. No, I've said it. I said it all last season. I'm not going to suddenly change my mind.
This is what I mean. McTominay and Lindelof and these man there can have a 6 out of 10 game, and everyone will talk like they've had an 8 out of 10 game.
Lindelof's better than
Pogba. He is. Pogba can have a 7 out of 10 game. A 7 out of 10 game, but people will talk about him like he's had a 5 out of 10 game. Like the levels of what they have to do to impress people is mad. Now, obviously, because Pogba's a better player, but Pogba was player of the season last season. He was our best player.
I'm not going to change my. I've said it all along. I thought I'm with you on the whole.
Lindelof was our most improved player.
Different levels.
What does that say
I
about
thought
where
he
he
was
started?
consistent
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Lindelof. Sorry.
But no, he was our most improved player. He's saying, but it's like because he set the bar so low initially when he came in.
I thought he had a good season, Lindelof, last season. I don't think many did. I think over the course of the season as well, rather than he had a good game in Paris, which everyone dined out on for fucking months. Do you know what I mean? Like, he actually played well before and after that game.
It's like, well, I'm not a massive fan of Lindelof, to be honest. I think even since Maguire's came in, everyone's kind of talking, defence is sorted now. We got him alongside Lindelof. Because on paper, it's like, yeah, he's tidy at feet, he's proper tidy. But you're getting bonked off the ball by Maddison. And it's like, if you're getting muscled off the ball by Maddison, something's wrong for me. Because like there's better forwards who are a lot stronger. You'd think you've still got a proper challenge with them. You're just getting bounced off by Maddison.
He has had a few question marks this season, hasn't he? Rightly or wrongly. There's been a couple of instances where people have started looking.
Yeah, the Southampton goal when he equalised. He's been out-jumped in 2 games consecutively. That has led to goals. I'm not going to question like I say, on the floor he's good, but if he's not in the air, you've got to be a physical presence, and he's not that. I remember when Mourinho threw him in against Huddersfield, but in 5 minutes, he got roasted twice, and he scored twice.
Mo made a good point on the preview this week, and I sat back and thought about it, and I thought he could be right. He said by Christmas, I think he said by Christmas, might have been said by the end of the year, but Tuanzebe will replace Lindelof as Maguire's partner. It's how he's looking at it. And we are, because, we're going to get to see with the Europa League kicking off with what is it called these days? Caramel Cup.
League Cup.
Caramat Cup.
It's the milk cup.
The milk
Caramat Cup. And it's a nice chocolate bar.
Caramat Cup, I didn't.
The Rumbelows.
Yeah, since they're back, we're going to be using them a little bit. Rumbelows, I never got to hear that one, I don't think.
Really? No, I feel old.
When was that?
One of my favourite games of the Rumbelows Cup, 1990, when we beat the Scouts.
Oh, wait. I was alive. I can't remember back then, though.
That was about 2, you get me?
Yeah.
I was only 10, by the way. I wasn't like, you know what I mean?
You still remember it.
Rumbelows League Cup final, 1992. Brian McClare against Nottingham Forest, 92. Won it. Basically, we completed the set. Then the following season, we lost the league title. Say a few weeks later.
It's mad. I used to hate when Brian McClare would play for United, and when I think about that now, and I look at his goal scoring record, he was the first one since George Best to score over 30 goals in a season. Yep. And I used to look at him and think, God,
scored in a League Cup final, scored an FA Cup final. I mean,
it's just because I was a kid, innit?
Yes.
I wanted like Andy Cole and them man to start.
To be fair, by the time you came around, Shockey even by his own admission, like when Cole and all them lot, he was on his way out. But he's got 2. As he always goes on about, he's got 2 of the best assists ever. The Beckham halfway line and the Sunderland chip.
Did he ruin Cantona celebration on it? Like, that move, bro. Like, come out of the screen, bro. Like,
it cost me against Chelsea when we were winning 3-0, going to win the double. Paulins went through. I had 3-0 and I was going to win. Yeah, I've got a bet, and McClare puts it in. That's how they put my booking ticket. It cost me.
He always says he nearly missed that as well, even though it was only 5 yards out. It studs. He says it almost missed.
I think that's Jay's his mate.
Yeah, by the way, I know Brian McClare's a good, close personal friend of mine. Got his number on my phone and all that.
No shit.
Just call me Webby.
Any kebab stories about Brian McClare?
No, I haven't, sorry.
Webby did send us the video of him, by the way, planning around in the airport with Wes Brown. It was great. Great WhatsApp content that was. We should have sent it in the WhatsApp group of Full Time Devils.
Yeah.
That's probably the way we could utilise little clips.
Yeah,
like
we'll
that.
do. We'll get next time Webby sends us one that's shareable.
click the link in the description below for our WhatsApp group. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not? Yeah. Promote it.
We got West Ham this weekend. Someone once famously said, "The Academy of Football, what the fucking hell is that?"
Oh yeah, just because they won the World Cup. That's what they say, isn't it?
Do you know what? Every time I see Declan Rice now, I want him to score. I want him to score. Just to you. I do. I couldn't give a shit either way, right?
Do you know what? Yeah.
I was watching the other day, I can't remember, it might have been in England, and I was thinking, I hope he pings one in.
Do you know what happened?
Just for your timeline.
I thought that for a long time, because like whenever I used to tweet about next summer's transfers, people used to say, "Oh, we're gonna get Sancho, Maddison, and Rice," and it used to happen a lot. And I started thinking, is he all that? And then I tweeted it, And then it turned into what it turned into. So now when I'm watching him, I always think, please don't do nothing good. Like, it's weird. I find I'm just watching him now. He's actually all right. I'm only joking. He's all right. Look, the point I was trying to make was, this is the point. Do you want a team of McTominays? Because that's where we're going. Because that's where we're going.
I want Sancho, definitely.
If we get, no, I want Sancho. But if we're going to get Declan Rice, McTominay, Pogba's gone. We still got Matty.
Would you throw Pereira into that mix?
No, Pereira's not going to be here for long, I don't think. I'd take Declan Rice over McTominay, but I wouldn't take Declan Rice at anything over £30 million. That's the point I was trying to make. No, I know, and they're going to want 80 million. Declan Rice.
I'm not a big
£80 million
Declan Rice fan, to be honest with you. But
he's going to score the winner this weekend.
You know, not all of us have real Ferdinand following us who gives a shit.
You don't follow me. You don't even follow me. That's the worst thing.
About Declan Rice. And West Ham till the cows come home, and Rio's never even going to notice.
That's the worst thing.
I think thrown right under that bus, son.
Either people tagged him in my thing like snitching. Like, oh look, look at this guy. Grass me up to Rio. Or
get stitches.
It got sent in a WhatsApp group or something, and Rio's seen it, and he's been like, I'm not having this cunt. I told Rio he's the best defender I've ever seen to his face.
You did the cardinal sin though, Macca, right? You were arguing your point. As you was arguing, you made a mistake when you said Antonio.
Yeah,
that gave people fuel then, because if you hadn't said that, everything I agreed with a lot of what you said.
But that proves my point.
But as soon as you said that, people were like, Antonio didn't even come through the academy, and that sort of gets people.
But does that not prove my point?
Yeah, but I know I'm with you.
I couldn't even name three players from their academy now.
I thought he was until I saw the reaction to your tweet. But no, I get where you're coming from. People were saying, well, you can say that about United. Well, we have been saying that about United. I've been saying it every week for about the last 6 years. You're not listening.
That's the thing. People are saying, yeah, but what about? I'm not mentioning United. I hate that. You know when you talk about something that's not United, and then people are like, but what about? But I'm not.
It's like when someone scores who's not Marcus Rashford.
Yeah.
It comes back to Rashford. Have you not noticed that?
Yeah.
Like all the time.
Or
like Abraham scores, and all I see on, and I think is Rashford playing today? No, Tab Abraham is. So why is Marcus Rashford getting like
the
shit?
Penalty.
Yeah. I forgot about it. Yeah, like
Rashford's getting a lot of work these days, isn't he? There are the brown people in this industry, you know. Nah, Rashford's killing it, putting brown folks on the map. But come on, don't be bringing Pogba into a situation about fucking who was it? Ross Barkley.
Yeah, Ross Barkley, Jorginho, and Willian, and then somehow it becomes about Pogba and Rashford.
And then I know. Did you see Jorginho go up to him after? And he was still. Eh?
Your name Webby?
Oh yeah, I'm moving away from the thing, innit? Jorginho went up to him after, and he was still clearly fuming in his eyes, but he went, yeah, go on, score it then. Like, shook his hand, like, he was always going to miss it, wasn't he? He was always going to miss it. What do you think of Barkley?
He's not progressed, has he? In my opinion.
He's gone backwards.
I think I saw him at Everton, and I thought he was a decent young prospect. I was a little bit surprised Chelsea went in for him, and there was all that sort of shenanigans with the medical and all the rest of it, where the mayor of Liverpool got involved. I don't know if you remember that. Joe Anderson tweeting the FA, saying it was a disgrace. 'Cause he went for a medical, didn't he? And then failed his medical, allegedly. And then went in the next transfer window for 20 million quid less. So there was rumours that he knew he wasn't fit enough yet. So he said, well, don't sign yet. Sign in the next window and we'll save a few quid. So the mayor of Liverpool thought that by tweeting the FA, he was going to get the transfer revoked or whatever. But he's not, for me, he's not kicked on. I think the biggest thing he's done is scoring that last minute equaliser against us. If you remember.
Yeah, 2-2. Yeah, 2-2. Should have won it.
Do you know what I always think about with Barkley?
Oh, Martial
the semi-final. Yeah, I always think of Herrera grabbing the back of his shirt.
Oh, yeah.
As he was running away. And then he got booked as well.
I remember when he came through and I thought, he looks like a midfield version of Rooney. When he first come through and I thought, we need him. And then after that, it just never really came about, did he?
Yeah, personally, I think he's tired in that. Technically, I do like him. I think I know everyone's gonna say, "Oh, what's he done at Chelsea?" But I think he been there? See, like, you only been there 18 months or something. Like, obviously, like they ain't really got a settled side. I don't know. I think he's tidy technically. I think they got him for kind of cheap as well. So I'm surprised. Well, I don't know if he was probably what we needed, but like when he first came through, I'd have took him at United, to be honest. But
When do you mean? When he first broke?
When he first burst
yeah,
onto the
not
scene.
when he went to Chelsea though. Would you?
Yeah, probably not then, to be honest. But I'd still, if someone said we're getting him, I wouldn't be mad if we'd have signed Ross Barkley. But I think it's like when we played against Chelsea, if he scores the one that De Gea saves at feet, again, people's perception of Barkley is completely different. And again, like at the start of the season, he scored 1 goal in the first 3 games. It's different, but again, I think football is heavily based on form, and again, I think that's what people base a lot of things on. It's like this whole Daniel James, Pepe argument. Like after 5 games, Daniel James is a world beater.
I think that is a little.
Season.
See, this is what I think happens, like on social media, particularly, like that whole Martial FC thing was a joke. It was like a little bit of fun, and then people started, these like Martial FC, they only support one player. They don't support United. They only support. But it was a joke. It started off as a joke, and it's still a joke, and then people just continue it, and it's the same with that. Like, yeah, I just think it's a joke sometimes. People take things too seriously.
I am Daniel James FC though. That's me.
But that's the thing. Arsenal fans brought it on themselves because they were. We don't shop in the Championship. We don't do this. So when your player has a stinker for the first few games and Daniel James outscores him, it's a little bit of banter.
Do you not think with that fan base though that it's all based on like the comments and everything they see is like the most outrageous things all the time. Yeah. It's all absolutes. It's all like just not. It's like Piers Morgan. You talk about off air before we start recording about Piers Morgan. It's all that sort of thing. Like Wenger's the best manager ever when you know he blatantly wasn't. The Invincibles are the best team ever when you know they blatantly weren't. Pepe's the best player in the world when you never even heard of him before you signed him. It's just
David
all
Luiz,
like
David Luiz is a great centre.
David Luiz. You've watched David Luiz for years. You know he's rubbish and he's a liability, but he signs for you, and then all of a sudden you're coming out with madness about he's the best centre back in the world. It's just all absolutes.
There's no
reason
a video out there of me saying that this season. Is it one we did with Robbie when I said I don't really think David Luiz is all that, and it's like
Sideshow Bob. That's all it is.
Chelsea sold Arsenal. Czech. He was chucking it in for a few seasons. Czech leaves and they sell him to David Luiz. Good business by Chelsea.
You know if you're on a transfer ban and you're letting him go, something's going on there, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Lampard obviously just didn't rate him at all. Why is Lampard not rating him? There must be a reason for that. It's not like he's got an abundance of centre-backs he can choose from and he can't bring anyone in. So that would make me start thinking of that would raise a red flag. It's like when we sold Sylvester to Arsenal. We didn't do it because he was a top centre-back, we did it because he was on his way out.
Sylvester was when we signed him.
Oh, he did a great job
for
a few seasons, didn't he? Yeah. But by the time we let him go, he was done.
He scored 2 against Liverpool in one
game. 40 quid that did at the game.
That was a good year. Well, actually, was that the game when Rio was?
Rio. I remember that game. My mate had a bet on Rio to get man of the match, and Rio got man of the match.
Yeah, he was on the side eating like an energy bar or something.
Yeah, that's it.
What? Why do I remember weird dumb shit like that? That was a good one.
Because you're weird.
Yeah, it's because I'm a proper just football weirdo. But just United. So
you are a bit sort of like Rain Man with some of this shit because I'm like struggling to remember you
were on drugs watching them games though.
Yeah, that's to be fair.
I was like a fresh faced
from 96 to 2014, forget it.
Yeah, I was a fresh faced youngster at some of these games. Wasn't even drinking.
I remember getting my first season ticket when I was 16 when I had it up to like 2014. So I had a good part of 25 years, 30 years. So I had £101 in the Stretford End. Fucking hell, look at it now.
What year was that? When was that?
91, 92. Last season at Stretford End.
The year football started.
Yeah, my mum bought it, man. It was a crack.
That's sick, though.
It was alright, that. Meant that.
Did you would have been around with league match ticket books and...
Hell yeah. There were season ticket holders, league match ticket book holders. Oh, and that season, we got a free game, League Cup, against Cambridge.
Talk about that. Me and him got
Cambridge United. Got a free game.
We got some free games this year, cup games, because we got moved in the Stretford End. So all our cup games are free.
For some.
Europa, mate. It's Europa.
See Rochdale for free.
When we first started going to games, I had a membership, so I never had a season ticket all the time. And we used to get the books at the start of the season, and we'd have to fill in the game and the date, how much tickets you wanted, where you wanted to sit, and then post it, and then just sit there, fingers crossed, for about 4 weeks, hoping to get a ticket.
Did they have the ticket stuff thing when you was then? We had to fill out your token sheet. Did you have that?
No, because it was a membership.
Right.
So it wasn't season ticket.
Yeah, no, that was it for the members. If you wanted a
Okay.
cup final ticket, you used to have a token sheet. And if
My
you kept
dad
the
probably
ticket,
had that.
Yeah, and you used to cut it
Because
out
what
and
I'd
stick it
do
on.
is I'd get the application, and as soon as the fixtures would come out, I'd write all the fixtures in the thing, like we're applying for them all. But then dates would change, and so then I'd mash up the whole application book.
Do you know what? They even had at the back of the season ticket book, the same season, I took my brother to a Nottingham Forest match. And all you had to do was write in the details of the guest who you was coming with and pay the price. That was it. You could bring. I took my little brother.
You could bring as many people as you want.
About 2-3 people. I brought my little brother who was about 11 at the time. Went against Nottingham Forest. We lost 2-1. We lost the league on Easter Monday.
I was going to say 91 to 92 was not a good season to have your first season ticket, was it? Because that was like.
No.
That was the last season I went. He's going
Won
with
the
Dad.
League Cup, we
The
won the
season
League
after
Cup.
is when I started going on
Won
my
the
own
League
mates.
Cup,
Yeah. But yeah, it was horrible. We lost at Anfield as well, didn't we? Lost at West Ham.
Yeah.
Mate, we had a horrible end to the season, and bad thing was we beat Leeds in the League Cup
And
and then
FA.
drew with them in the league.
And FA.
Yeah,
We had Leeds 3 times in January.
shit times.
That there
Shit, man.
is actually the alarm for my car park ticket
For these tablets.
and my tablets. So, Wally of the weeks. I am Adam Mckola. My Wally of the week is Ross Barkley. No, in fact, Sky Sports and all them, man. Gary is included in this. Jamie's included in it. Call Gary Neville Gary now.
First name basis on that, yeah.
But
okay.
you know why? Remember when Pogba and Rashford did that thing? For weeks on Sky Sports News, they were bringing in guests to talk about it. They were doing specials on penalties. Gary Neville was having a go at Pogba's, what was it? Attitude and stuff like that. And now it's Ross Barkley and them. We'll see, innit? Is it because it's United or because it's Pogba? Or just both? Just
Perfect storm, innit? Perfect storm.
You just like give your Wallies of the weeks. Make sure you subscribe and liking, comment and sharing. I'll leave you with these lot to wrap up this video while I go move my
that
car.
mic over here, Andy, and we'll do your.
See you later.
Macca goes and shifts his car. Go on, who's your Wally of the week?
Van Dijk last night.
Van Dijk.
He cannot be touched. Oh, what did he do last night? Hey,
Set up a goal, didn't he?
He gave away a goal. So, come on. We all had a laugh last night. We had a laugh on Saturday with City. But I've had City fans who are saying it's over, it's done, they've lost the league. You're like, haven't you learnt nothing?
Nah, it's too
After
early.
last season?
Fucking hell, man. We're in
Louise, man.
September.
10 points behind
Come on,
and you still
mate.
pip 'em.
Seriously. Do you know what I mean? How
It's
many
only-
times have we seen the likes
it's
of
only
Arsenal
one
have a
game.
flyer and all that? Do you know what I mean? I think it will be close this season, but yeah. No,
Means
so you're
nothing.
going with Van Dijk as your Wally of the week.
Yeah, just for that mistake last night.
I'm trying to think. Go on, Dean. Have you got one while I have a think?
I'd say David Luiz, but he's probably the whole back four of Arsenal, to be honest. like I don't know. Like to me, I don't know. Like again, funny enough, on Match of the Day I saw it, but it's like when they score, it's like it's like probably is the game stopped or something? He's chilling on the edge of his box and that. What are you doing? It's looked like someone like it looked like I don't know if you ever played like Pro or FIFA online, and it's like as the geezer left the room, because the man's just standing there like standing still and that just gets pickpocketed and buried like. Madness, but I'd say the whole back four of Arsenal, to be honest. Like,
Wow.
I did laugh when he flashed up.
I laughed when Tom Cleverley
like
scored. That was mint.
that's what I'm saying.
I forgot about old Tom there. Hey, absolute legend.
Cleverly.
I'm gonna probably go Cleverly. Yeah.
Cleverly.
Hey, how can you take the mick? You take the mick out of my accent.
No, I'm taking a mick out my own
I'm
accent.
about to say. Hey, there's an app somewhere where you saying that on in there.
Yeah. There is or there was. I don't know what happened to it.
Right, I'm gonna go with. Do you know what I'm gonna go with? I'm gonna go with Klopp, just because I saw him getting really arsey on the telly in an interview. I think he has this sort of
What game was it?
after they got beat in Europe against Napoli, and everyone else, oh, you're gonna love him and all. Journalists out, hang out the back of his arse and all that. But he's still like a normal manager who gets moody if they lose and all the rest of it, and then gets a bit aggressive unnecessarily. So I'm gonna go with Jurgen Klopp because he showed his true colours. Because I can't be doing all this loving with him, it does my head in. Right, anyway, Macca's gone. Dean, have you enjoyed your first time on the podcast, mate? It's been good having you on.
Man. When's the presentation? That's what I need to know.
It's in the post, yeah. Don't worry about that. Yeah,
it's in the post. Okay.
Put your address in the comments, and we'll, and we'll send it out to you. No bad will come from that whatsoever. Listen, guys, as Mac said, this has been the Full Time Devils podcast. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for listening and watching.